I was assigned the task of seducing my father's enemy. After my father lost a bid, he sent me to the rival company's entrance to stage a scene and cause trouble. I immediately protested, "Dad, don't be so dramatic. A fake run-in on the street is impossible." So I walked up to the rival company's guard station and softly asked the person inside, "Excuse me, do you want a girlfriend?" The young man silently stared at me for a long time, then replied, "Yes." I smirked. "Hee hee, take me inside and uproot that money tree from your company president's office, and I'll be your girlfriend, deal?" To my surprise, he led me straight into his father's office, and right in front of him, he pulled out the money tree. After losing the bid, my father came home, taking out his anger on the cat, then the dog, and finally me. He eventually pointed a trembling finger at me, issuing an ultimatum. "Anna, I'm giving you two choices. 1, go on a blind date and bring a son-in-law home for me. 2, go to the rival company's gate and stage a collision." "Dad, don't be so unreasonable. I'm a beautiful young woman, I'm very young, I absolutely cannot step into married life so soon." So I resolutely chose the second option. But that fake collision stunt was too much for me. I could never do it in my entire life. I pulled my hat low, stealthily approaching the rival company's guard station, bowing my head and whispering, "Excuse me, sir. Hey! Damn it, who are you calling, sir?" He snapped, angrily pulling off my hat, revealing a cold, murderous face. I looked at his handsome face, unable to utter a word. In my heart, I thought, "Oh, Dad, why did you lose the bid? Our guard is an old man who takes 2 breaths for every 3 steps. How can he compare to this guy?" While I was still staring blankly at his face, he sleepily asked in a hoarse voice, "What do you want?" It was only then that I remembered the mission my father had given me, but standing before such a handsome face, I felt a little shy and stammered for a while before saying, Do you have a girlfriend?" I brazenly continued to look him straight in the eyes, adding, "Take me inside and uproot that money tree from your company president's office, and I'll be your girlfriend, okay?" "I'm sorry, Dad, I'm unfilial. I really can't pull off that fake troublemaking stunt in front of another company's gate." "Why, and why do I have to uproot the money tree? I heard Dad cursing the rival's boss half a month ago, saying he didn't know where to find a money tree. I suspect that losing the bid was related to this tree. Why do I have to do this myself? Because I don't trust those handsome guys." Perhaps my words were too unbelievable, causing the young man to stare blankly for a long time. Just when I thought he would refuse, he replied, "All right, let's go." Huh, he actually agreed? I looked at him with skeptical eyes, only one thought flashing through my mind. Is there something wrong with his head, who becomes a security guard and then agrees to lead a stranger into the president's office to uproot a tree? Perhaps my gaze was too obvious. He pulled his guard hat down, then tilted his chin at me. "Don't worry, I've had myself checked. The doctor said my brain is perfectly healthy." You clearly misunderstood the meaning of healthy." "Wait," I grabbed his sleeve, my face flustered. "I can't go in there looking like this." A few minutes later, the young man looked at me with a "Are you serious?" expression. I waved my hand gravely, saying mysteriously, "You wouldn't understand. Anyway, I'm the daughter of the rival company. They've probably investigated me thoroughly. I might be arrested before I even step inside." So I crawled into a trash can. I'm going to throw up. Why is there dog poop in here? Yua. After many hardships, I finally stepped into my father's #1 enemy's office. Even more coincidentally, no one was in the office. I was overjoyed as if I'd struck gold, immediately grabbing the potted plant and pulling it out. The young man stood beside me, looking at me with an unreadable expression. "Don't tell me you don't know what a money tree looks like." I was stunned. "How do you know?" The corner of his mouth twitched slightly, then he pointed to a tall, leafy tree almost as tall as me. "You pulled out the wrong one. That one is the money tree. Get out of the way." I don't know where he got a large pair of scissors, but he lunged at the flourishing money tree and started chopping it up. I had to admit, his skill wasn't bad. A vibrant money tree was cut to shreds, losing all shape. I quickly raised my phone to take a picture as evidence. I patted him, reassuring him, "Don't worry, if you ever get caught later, just come find me. You can just live with me, it's fine." The young man slightly parted his lips and smiled. "Then can I have your phone number to save it?" I didn't hesitate to tell him my number and also conveniently saved his. "Oh, what's your name, by the way? I'll save it too." "Daniel Jiang." Why does that name sound so familiar? While I was trying to rack my brain, wondering where I had heard that name before, the office door suddenly swung open. I froze. Daniel's dad, my father's sworn enemy, glared at us with eyes sharp as knives. "What are you two doing here?" I gasped, my mouth moving faster than my brain. Sir, we just came here to use the restroom." Daniel, his dad? No, that's not right. My face flushed and I quickly explained. "Actually, I'm not a frequent user of restrooms." Daniel tilted his head, looking at me. "Are you constipated?" I surrendered, too embarrassed to explain further. Suddenly, with a crash, Daniel pulled the money tree right out of its pot. I wanted to scream. His dad also bellowed. "What in the world are you doing?" Daniel calmly threw the tree to the ground. "Oh, I just saw this tree was thriving, so I thought I'd try pulling it out." Daniel's dad had probably never heard such a brain-exploding sentence in his life. His face turned ashen with anger, while the culprit calmly brushed the dirt off his security uniform, then slung his arm around my shoulders, pulling me, who was standing still as a statue, close. "If there's nothing else, Dad, I'll take my girlfriend home first." His dad gnashed his teeth, pointed to the door, and roared, "Get out!" I also gnashed my teeth. What did he just call me? It wasn't until Daniel dragged me back to the guard station that I tremblingly pointed at him. You. Daniel grabbed my wrist and casually pulled me into his embrace. "You're my girlfriend, have you forgot?" I. He raised an eyebrow. "You're the one who told me to live with you, my dear." I wanted to scream internally, but you didn't tell me that was your dad. No wonder, could the familiar-sounding name be because? Besides, what son would uproot his own father's money tree? Daniel chuckled softly, as if it was no big deal. "What's wrong with it, sweetheart? I can even lead you to rip off my dad's wig." I told myself I'd give him 6 points. "You truly are a rare filial child." Daniel was determined not to let me go. "Now you have to compensate me," I asked, puzzled. "Compensate for what? Compensate? You want me to take responsibility for whom?" "All right." Daniel grinned slyly, grinding his teeth. "Are you messing with me?" He pulled out his phone and I had a bad feeling. "What are you doing?" Daniel replied coldly. "Calling the police." I snatched the phone from his hand, urgently trying to stop him. "Stop, it's not that serious, why call the police?" "Isn't it just taking responsibility?" "I agree, all right." Daniel raised an eyebrow. "Agree to what?" Reflexively, I blurted out, "Agree to take responsibility for." Not take responsibility for you." As soon as I got home, I hugged my father's leg and burst into tears, dramatically embellishing the story of how Daniel had deceived, intimidated, and threatened me. "Dad, what should I do now? Do you think he's trying to eat me up?" My father snorted coldly after hearing everything, then aggressively pulled out his phone and said, "Is that all? I thought it was something serious. Just wait." Indeed, in this world, only my father was the best. All the frustration I had felt from being threatened by Daniel vanished with my father's powerful words. I happily opened my phone and texted Daniel. "You're doomed," Daniel replied with a question mark. I typed triumphantly, "My dad said so. My family has connections. We're not afraid of you, you flying wild boar." Daniel fell silent. But when I opened the picture my dad sent, I was stunned. "Dad, what does this meme mean?" My dad leaned in close and whispered devilishly, "Didn't you say that kid keeps clinging to you? So tell him to print this picture out, slip it into the contract his dad is about to sign tomorrow, and ask him if he dares." Dad, don't be so messed up." My father ignored my bewildered expression, just glanced at the screen and said, "I didn't say anything, all right? Besides, our family runs a legitimate business. Don't go around saying silly things." Startled, I quickly reopened the chat with Daniel and frantically typed, "Do you believe me? That last message was sent by my cat." Daniel scoffed, "Why don't you say your cat can do backflips too?" "But my cat really can do backflips." I quickly found the video I took the day before, showing my cat elegantly doing a flip in the living room, and sent it to Daniel. Seemingly a bit shocked, Daniel only replied with one word, 6. I breathed a sigh of relief, immediately counterattacking by sending the meme my dad had sent earlier. "With this level of skill, you want to sign a contract with me?" Daniel sent a question mark. I typed a message, my tone full of patronizing affection. "If you don't believe me, you have to be punished, you silly." "Punished for what?" "Punished by printing this picture and clipping it into your dad's contract tomorrow." A moment later, Daniel sent a voice message, his voice deep and charming. "All right, but if I do it, you have to kiss me." This guy is not to be trifled with. My face flushed, instinctively wanting to refuse, but then I thought there was nothing to worry about. Who would be foolish enough to ruin their own father's contract signing ceremony? So I boldly agreed, secretly thinking, As long as Daniel can't do it, I'll have a reason to dump him. But the next day, I realized I was wrong because Daniel was not an ordinary person at all. My father was intently reading the news. A company announces the cancellation of its contract with Jiang Corp, published on WBO, laughing heartily until his head tilted back. I, on the other hand, was stunned, staring at Daniel's message on my phone. "When will you kiss me?" My father curiously glanced over, and upon seeing the message, his eyes lit up, ready to start lecturing me. I quickly hid my phone, solemnly declaring, "From now on, I won't help Dad with anything anymore. What kind of father pushes his daughter into marriage like you do?" To escape my father's madness, I decided to take my cat and dog and move back to my small apartment. A few days later, I went out to eat. I don't know if it was because I had an iced milk tea before coming here, but I had only just sat down for a short while when I had to go to the toilet twice. To the point where I had to lean against the wall to stand steady when I came out, my whole body was exhausted. "Are you all right?" I thought it was a restaurant staff member, so I didn't bother to look up and replied, "I'm fine, thank you." A young, lazy yet familiar voice rang out, "No problem." That familiar voice was like a sudden jolt, startling me completely. Daniel looked at me, a meaningful smile on his face. "You haven't replied to my messages for a week. I thought something happened to you. I was about to call the police." Such a threat? This was clearly a blatant intimidation. I forced a laugh. "My phone was broken recently. I had to take it for repair." Daniel softly HMM'd with a deep implication. "I thought you were deliberately avoiding me." How could he be so accurate? My scalp felt numb with embarrassment, and Daniel narrowed his eyes. "Why are you trembling? Could it be that the 10 plates of smashed cucumbers at my house were your doing?" I quickly shook my head. It definitely wasn't me. After saying that, I curiously asked, "What 10 plates of smashed cucumbers?" Then Daniel told me a strange story. Today, his family went to dinner at this restaurant, waited for an hour for their food, and finally, they brought out 10 plates of smashed cucumbers. His father was so angry that he sent Daniel to the kitchen to find out what happened, only to discover that the menu had been changed by someone at some point. I couldn't help but laugh, waving my hands repeatedly. "It really wasn't me? Oh, I don't believe you." I tried to show my innocence in the face of his suspicion, but Daniel simply reminded me nonchalantly, "That thing you asked me to do last time, I did it, so when will you kiss me? I'll believe you after you kiss me." Daniel leaned in close, whispering in my ear, "How about we do it today?" "What?" I swallowed dryly. "You, young man, are playing with fire." Daniel smirked. "Then come play with me." What the hell? Can these words really be spoken in broad daylight? His handsome face magnified right before my eyes. My heart pounded. Daniel whispered again, full of charm, "Anna, kiss me." I couldn't believe it. In broad daylight, he dared to pull such a seductive trick. Just as Daniel's lips were almost touching mine, a woman's voice, full of suspicion, spoke up beside us. "Daniel, is that you?" Daniel replied, "Mom." A few minutes passed. I sat slumped in the chair, constantly blaming myself for leaving the house today. Daniel glanced at me, his tone not at all subtle. "Why are you fidgeting so much? Do you have an illness?" I was speechless. "What kind of talk is that?" Daniel's mom glared at him reprovingly, then lovingly placed a large gold bracelet on my wrist. "Anna, this is our first time meeting. Auntie didn't prepare much. Please accept this bracelet to make Auntie happy." I panicked. "Auntie, I wouldn't dare." His mom held my hand tightly, then suddenly asked a question that stunned me a little. "Is your father still doing well these days?" What? Weren't my father and Daniel's father like fire and water? Why was his mom talking so unusually intimately? Before I could reply, Daniel indifferently glanced at me. "Mom, don't scare my girlfriend away." My face burned red. His mom chuckled, playfully scolding him a few times, then stopped asking questions. After dinner, Daniel's mom insisted that Daniel take me home. I quickly made an excuse to escape, walking and pulling out my phone to greet my father. "Dad, were you the one who changed the restaurant menu and made the Jiang family eat only smashed cucumbers?" My father replied, "You unfilial child, how dare you suspect your father? Would your father do such immoral things?" "Oh, really?" "And that time, you made me stage a fake traffic collision at the company gate, or slip sarcastic memes into their contract signing. Was that moral?" I should have gone home after dinner, but just then my friend called and invited me for a walk. I thought about how I'd been holed up at home all week to avoid Daniel, only to run into him as soon as I stepped out. Well, hiding was useless anyway. After walking around, it was past 9 p.m. and I called a taxi home. Normally, the driver would wait right at the apartment complex gate, but the road was under repair, so I had to get out and walk. The road home was deserted. As I was about to reach the gate, a figure suddenly jumped out from the bushes. The man had a lecherous face, furtively approached, then suddenly threw open his jacket. Ah! I was startled, covering my head and eyes, screaming loudly, then turned and ran. To my surprise, after only 2 steps, a piteous wail erupted from behind me. What happened? My eyes were offended, but he was the one crying. I angrily turned back, only to see the pervert pinned to the ground by Daniel, being beaten half to death. You bastard! Is your thing as tiny as a 3-year-old's and you still dare to act tough? If I don't knock out all your teeth today, I'll change my name. I was stunned and quickly ran to hold him back. Stop hitting him, please, you'll kill him. Seeing this, the man immediately scrambled up, crying and running away on all 4s. We stood in silence, looking at each other for a long time. I frowned and asked, "Why are you here?" Daniel looked at me, displeased. "What kind of face are you making? I'm not a pervert like you think. Don't forget who just saved you." I forced a laugh. Indeed, at first, I suspected he was stalking me because he even carried a sack. I glanced at the empty sack, unable to suppress my curiosity. How many empty bottles have you collected? What are you going to do? Sell them for money. Just this afternoon, I saw your family throwing a grand party, and now you have to scavenge for a living. It's because of you that my dad kicked me out of the house. My mouth fell open. I felt guilty, but still found it hard to believe. Didn't your family just have a gathering today? Daniel shot me a sideways glance, softly HMM'd, his eyes a little distant. It was the last meal. So where are you sleeping tonight? On the street. As soon as he finished speaking, Daniel slung the sack over his shoulder, waved goodbye, and turned to walk away. I watched his lonely figure, remembering how he hadn't hesitated to lead me into his father's office to uproot the money tree, ruining his family's business. Now he was kicked out on the street to collect trash. Then I saw him step on a yogurt bottle, nearly falling. Oh, fine, I can't bear it anymore, I thought, quickly running after him and calling out, Daniel, do you want to come to my place and watch my cat do backflips? After saying that, I suddenly remembered that Daniel's mind was a bit unusual. He probably wouldn't understand such subtle hints. I mean, I can let you stay for one night. The young man didn't reply immediately. Instinctively, I looked up and saw his eyes full of amusement. My face flushed and I quickly added, "What are you laughing at? Only one night, tomorrow you have to fend for yourself." "Anna," Daniel spoke, his voice lazy, then unexpectedly tapped my head lightly. "Next time, don't just casually invite men to sleep at your house. Aren't you afraid of danger?" With that, he tilted his chin, signaling, "Let's go. When you're inside, I'll find my own place to sleep." After saying that, I covered my head and turned to walk away. Ungrateful jerk. 3 days later, Daniel unexpectedly texted me, saying he had found a place to stay. All his money had gone into renting, so he had nothing left to eat. He repeated his old words, "Anna, you're the one who told me to live with you." Already feeling a little guilty, I couldn't bear to refuse, so every time I went out to eat, I invited him along. From then on, every morning when I woke up, the first thing I saw was a message from Daniel. "What are we eating today, Anna?" "I'm craving stewed goose. Today I watched a video of someone's chicken and mushroom rice being stolen, and now I suddenly want chicken and mushroom rice. Someone on the street is eating baked bread. It smells so good, Anna, I want some too." Eat and eat. Besides eating, what else do you know how to do? You look like a giant baked bread now." I was so full of resentment that I wanted to kick every dog I saw on the street. But after a month of daily text bombardment from Daniel, he was silent today, and I felt a bit empty. I must be masochistic or something, I thought. The whole day, no familiar, "What are we eating today?" Message. Uneasy, I irritably texted back, "What are we eating today?" The answer came quickly. "Today I'm picking up an old classmate from abroad. Can't eat with you." I didn't care much about Daniel's old classmate from abroad. It was just that the person I ate with every day suddenly went to eat with someone else, giving me a feeling like my husband was having an affair after marriage. Both disappointed and empty. The thought startled me, and I quickly composed myself, scolding myself. "Fool! Anna, snap out of it." But I didn't expect Daniel's old classmate to seek me out. The atmosphere here really isn't as good as over there. Even the coffee is worse. If it weren't for Daniel, I wouldn't bother coming back. The elegantly dressed girl in channel smiled slightly. "I assumed young girls like you aren't used to drinking coffee, so I took the liberty of ordering you a cappuccino." I glanced at her with an unreadable expression. "Thank you. I don't really drink coffee, I usually drink office and sip a little Photoshop in my free time. You know, Daniel is my senior. When we were studying abroad, the professor said we were meant for each other. I know you're his girlfriend now, but I'm back now. Ah, so she came to make her presence known? I immediately showed off the dazzling gold bracelet. This was given to me by Daniel's mom. He and I are perfectly in sync in everything. I'm very fond of him. I continued to raise the bracelet. This gift is from Daniel's mom. And this time I returned to the country, Daniel himself came to pick me up. Last night we had a wonderful evening together. I leaned in, pushing the gold bracelet close to her face. This was given to me by Daniel's mom. Finally, she couldn't take it anymore. Can't you say anything else besides that? I raised the bracelet to cover my face. This was given to me by Daniel's mom. She was so angry she was speechless, stood up and left. Before leaving, she gritted her teeth and said, "Do you really think Daniel is sincere with you? He always carries a picture of a deceased girl in his wallet. She was his deepest love." I ignored her, continuing to raise the gold bracelet. This was given to me by Daniel's mom. Finally, she completely gave up, waved her hand and walked away. You psycho. Who's the psycho here? Wait, what did she just say? Daniel had a deceased first love? I was furious, ready to explode. That damn man with his white moonlight in his heart still ate my food, drank my drinks, and spent my affection. I didn't understand why I was so angry. Perhaps it was from reading too many stories about being a substitute for a former lover, which suddenly made me feel like an idiot playing the role of a stand-in for the departed. I gritted my teeth and dialed Daniel's number. Hello, Anna, what are we eating today? Eat your head, eat your conscience too, plain rice. Just plain rice? Yes, just plain rice, you leech. Immediately, I cut off all contact with Daniel, even sending back the gold bracelet his mom had given me via express delivery. Then I picked up my cat and walked my dog home. My father was surprised to see me suddenly appear and asked, "What's wrong, honey? You don't look happy." I burst into tears, hugging my father's legs tightly. Wah. Dad, you were right. No one in the Jiang family is good. From now on, Daniel is my #1 enemy, my father stammered, but I never said that. Wah, my father patted my head to comfort me. All right, Anna, don't cry anymore. Wah, stop crying. If you cry again, I'll spank you. I fell silent. From that day on, I never saw Daniel again. I didn't know if he looked for me, but that didn't matter anymore. Until Daniel, that annoying name, sued me, accusing me of hiring someone to relieve themselves in front of his company. The court even sent a summons to my home. I was furious, aggressively seeking him out to settle scores. Daniel, are you crazy? When did I ever hire anyone to go to your company to poop? Daniel handed me a stack of clear photographic evidence. I bent down to look. Yes, it was indeed a photo taken in front of his company, and in the photo, there was indeed something indescribable. Wait a minute, but what does that have to do with me? I angrily pressed him. Daniel leaned against the table, raising an eyebrow nonchalantly. Why is it not related? I suspect you were the one who did it. Are you saying I went to poop in front of your company myself? Daniel shamelessly replied as if it were perfectly logical. You made me uproot my money tree before, so why couldn't you secretly go to poop? I was speechless, unable to utter a word. Damn it, it actually makes sense. Seeing that I couldn't say anything, Daniel subtly smirked. So, not avoiding me anymore? I retorted defiantly. Who said I was avoiding you? Do you think I'm scared of you? Then why did you hang up, cut off contact, call me a freeloader, and then run away in the middle of the night with your cat and dog without a word? At this, Daniel's eyes fixed on me, his voice carrying a hint of grievance. I looked everywhere for you and couldn't find you. I felt a little embarrassed. I mumbled, "Don't you have your dream, girl? Why look for me? Let me tell you, Daniel, I will absolutely not be a copy of that white moonlight." White moonlight what? What are you babbling about? Still pretending? I angrily pointed directly at him. Your old classmate told me, you have a picture of your deceased first love in your wallet, the person you love most. He fell silent, then coldly took out his wallet, pulled out the picture inside, and handed it to me. You mean this? You avoided me just because of this picture? I didn't want to look at his dream girl's photo, but still glanced at it. Huh, why is it a little girl? She looks familiar. A few seconds later, my eyes widened. Wait, why do you have a picture of me when I was little? Anna, do you really not remember me? Sadness was evident on Daniel's face. He slowly spoke each word. When we were little, you used firecrackers to blow me up in a sewer, and then you said you'd take responsibility for me. Have you forgotten? I blinked, trying to remember. It seemed that when I was a child, I used to play with firecrackers near sewers, making the water splash. One time, I accidentally blew up a boy walking by, covering him in mud. At that time, he had just bought new clothes, which I ruined completely, and he cried pitifully like a puppy. I found it annoying, so I told him to stop crying and casually said I would take responsibility for him to end the matter. After that, I moved with my father and forgot about it. So that means that person was Daniel? My mouth hung open. But I remember you were called Limpy Jiang back then. A vein throbbed on Daniel's forehead. He gritted his teeth. That's because my mouth was full of mud and I couldn't speak clearly. After that, I said repeatedly that my name was Daniel Jiang, Daniel Jiang. The misunderstanding was cleared. We both fell silent for a moment. Suddenly, Daniel looked at me and smiled. So, you were jealous because you thought I saw you as a replacement. Oh my God, how could he hit the nail on the head like that? My face felt fiery hot. I changed the subject by asking, but why did your old classmate from abroad say I was dead? Daniel curled his lips into a faint smile. Who knows, maybe because I kept your childhood photo in my wallet, she guessed you had a short life. Daniel chuckled, leaning closer to tease me. So, sweetheart, you like me now and that's why you're jealous, right? The temperature on my face, which had just cooled, shot up again. I glared and said loudly, so what? What if I like you? Am I forbidden to like you? Is that okay? Daniel looked at me, smiling gently. Anna, you finally like me. I'm so happy. Wait. I raised my hand to stop him when he tried to kiss me, frowning in discomfort. Can you not kiss me right now? My mind is full of the image of your face covered in mud after I blew you up with firecrackers when we were kids. After Daniel and I officially started dating, my father quickly found out. He looked at me, sighed, and shook his head. My daughter's grown up, can't keep her anymore. I felt a little guilty. After all, my father and Daniel's father were sworn enemies, and now I was in love with the son of his arch-rival. My father would surely be very uncomfortable. Therefore, when Daniel suggested meeting both families, I hesitated. How about we wait a little longer? Daniel froze for a moment, his eyes immediately welling up with hurt. Anna, are you breaking up with me? It turns out you never really loved me. I'm just worried Dad won't be able to accept it. After I explained, Daniel breathed a sigh of relief, though still a bit sulky. He leaned in and gently nipped my lip, grumbling softly. You're afraid your dad won't be able to take it, but aren't you afraid I won't be able to take it? Anna, I really want you to be my wife. Can I handle your dad's matter? I blinked at him. All right. Very quickly, Daniel arranged a meeting between both families. Although I trusted Daniel, I still felt a little anxious. During the meeting, I kept my eyes glued to my father and Uncle Jiang, afraid that they would immediately start fighting as soon as they saw each other, so I could intervene in time. However, not only did the scenario I imagined not happen, but I even witnessed my father and Daniel's father hugging each other affectionately, like long-lost brothers reunited after 10 years. I was completely stunned to see two people who were once like fire and water sitting opposite each other, chatting lively and smiling. Unable to hold back any longer, I asked, Dad and Uncle Jiang, aren't you supposed to be enemies? What is this? The whole table burst into laughter at my question. My father glared at me reproachfully. Wasn't it because you kept staying home all day and refused to date that your dad and Uncle Jiang came up with this plan? That day, Dad gave you two choices, either go on a blind date or go to the rival company to create a fake collision. My father looked at me as if I were an alien. Who would have thought you'd rather cause trouble than go on a blind date? So Dad and Uncle Jiang had to cooperate and act out a play. Daniel's father smiled kindly at me. Anna, actually, that day in the office, I recognized you from the start. When you were tiny, I even carried you. Do you remember? My father added, That's right, as soon as he picked you up, you screamed, I don't know why. Daniel raised an eyebrow, curling his lips into a mischievous smile. Sweetheart, so it turns out you've liked collisions since you were little, huh? Could you please shut up? It turns out the whole table conspired to deceive me. That night, lying in bed, I began to muse. If I had chosen the first option that day, what would have happened? Daniel leaned down and placed a kiss on my lips, his voice husky. No matter what you chose, the outcome could only be me. Extra Story 1. Buying a dog ***. Daniel walked into the pet store. The owner immediately recognized him as a VIP client from his elegant attire and greeted him warmly. Hello, sir, are you looking to buy a pet? Do you prefer a cat or a dog? Dog, Daniel replied concisely. Which breed do you prefer, sir? Let me introduce some breeds to you. Daniel raised his chin, saying seriously, No need, just find me one that's good at relieving itself. The owner, after many years in the business, had never encountered such a strange request. Hearing this, Daniel frowned. Don't you have any? The owner quickly forced a laugh. Yes, yes, we do, sir. Please wait a moment. After paying, Daniel led his newly purchased Labrador straight to his company gate. Releasing the leash, he commanded, Go, relieve yourself. Sir, you're being too much. Seeing the Labrador standing there bewildered, not moving, Daniel threatened, Hurry up. If you don't go, I'll cook you into a hot pot. At the same time, Daniel's father drove to the company to retrieve some documents he had forgotten that afternoon. And right before his eyes, his son was training a dog to relieve itself right in front of the company gate. After observing for 2 minutes, he couldn't take it anymore, rushing over and delivering a kick. Daniel, are you out of your mind? This son is hopeless. I guess I'll have to talk to my wife about having another child. Extra story 2, Daniel's plan. Daniel and I had a quarrel. It all started with a conversation between me and Daniel's mom. Suddenly, I remembered how I had once instigated Daniel to insert mocking memes about clients into his father's contract. I had always felt guilty about it and wanted to apologize to his dad. Daniel's mom just smiled upon hearing this. Oh, so it was you? I kept wondering why that boy would come up with such a strange idea. But no need to apologize. His father originally didn't want to cooperate with that company. Whether that happened or not, the contract couldn't have been signed anyway. I was stunned. But wasn't Uncle Jiang so angry that he kicked him out of the house because of that? Daniel's mom was surprised. No, there's only him in the house. His father often scolds him but never actually kicks him out. As soon as I got home, I saw the Labrador from the other day had once again relieved itself all over the floor. My face turned purple with anger. Daniel, what kind of dog did you buy? It pooped on my clothes again. Daniel, wearing only shorts, walked out, saw the scene, frowned, then quickly tried to appease me. Don't be angry, my love, I'll clean it up right away. But I had decided that before he cleaned up the battlefield, I had to deal with him first. Extra story 3, Daniel's wife-loving diary asterisk. April 28th, beautiful weather. Today I got beaten up by my wife. The reason was that my Labrador was too fond of relieving itself in random places. It had peed on my wife's new clothes for the 6th time. As a result, both it and I were thoroughly punished by her. I felt sad, too. But on second thought, this dog is half matchmaker. Without it, how could my wife and I reconcile so quickly? People often say you can chase anyone away, but don't chase away the matchmaker, right? For that reason, I decided to find a partner for Labby. Who knows, maybe with a wife, it'll be less mischievous. Ever since Anna and I fell in love, she's been constipated for some reason. I definitely need to arrange to take her to the hospital for a checkup. Today is another day filled with love for my wife. May 3rd, overcast sky, troubled mood. So annoyed, it's really infuriating. Today, when Anna and I went out to pick up something, a girl flirted with me, but not only did Anna not get jealous, she even blatantly praised another man in front of me. Humph, that's just like a cat praising its own long tail. When women get what they want, they no longer appreciate it. Faded flowers can bloom again, but how can a broken heart be mended? Extra story 4, Anna consoles her husband asterisk. Daniel had been sulking for 3 days straight. The cause began with a girl flirting with him, and I didn't get jealous. Plus, I accidentally praised the new delivery guy in the neighborhood for being kind-hearted, but it really wasn't my fault. The new cat bed I bought for Meow was too heavy. That kind-hearted guy helped me carry it all the way up to my apartment. Wasn't it normal for me to say he was a good person? Daniel made a big fuss, blaming me for not waiting for him to get off work and ask for his help instead. Frankly, it was a bit unreasonable, but he was my husband after all, so I decided to give in a little. Sweetie, I've made your favorite braised goose. Try a bite. HMPH, let your kind and handsome guy eat it then. Are you jealous? No. Then kiss me. Come on. Let the good person who delivered your package today kiss you. Extra story 5, wife-loving diary, self-reflection. May 4th, clear sky. Today I am writing this self-reflection with utmost remorse to offer my sincerest apologies to my beloved wife. I should not have been jealous without reason just because my wife accidentally praised another person, nor should I have sulked and refused to enjoy the braised goose my wife cooked. To the extent that I even contemplated leaving home to make my wife suffer. When my wife actively sought reconciliation, I refused to accept it. I was wrong. I promise I will never repeat this mistake again. Written by Daniel Jiang. Extra story 6, Daniel's wife-loving diary asterisk. October day, sunny weather. Today is the morning of the second day after Anna and I officially became husband and wife. She is still sleeping soundly. Even after an entire long night, my heart is still overflowing with happiness and emotion. So many things I want to say, but I don't know where to begin. Anna, meeting you and loving you in this life is the greatest blessing in my life. Daniel vows that he will love you, cherish you, and protect you for his entire life. Extra Story 7, Daniel's Wife-Loving Diary *. Chapter 5, New Year's Day, Beautiful Weather. Anna has good news, and everyone in the family is as joyful as if it were a festival. End of Extra Stories. That night I heard her muffled crying in the bathroom. I guess she had many worries. After all, my little girl would cling to me and sob just from fear. Now, suddenly pregnant, how could she not be panicked? Thinking it over, this was my oversight. I didn't expect that even using protection, an accident would still happen. If you don't want to have it, then we won't. I'll go make arrangements tomorrow, I said sincerely. After all, my father had been so angry after I led the dog to relieve itself at the company that he had scolded and told my mother to have another child to satisfy him. I eagerly awaited a child with Anna, but I loved her even more. If she didn't want it, then we wouldn't have it. We could still live happily ever after, just the two of us. But I was wrong. My girl was stronger than me. Daniel, I feel so happy. I love you, and Mom and Dad love me too. This baby is the result of our love, so I love it too. Even though I'm a little scared, I'm also really looking forward to the baby's arrival. In this world, there are sorrows and worries, but there are also countless good things, right? Besides, I believe you and Mom and Dad will love our child wholeheartedly, right? Yes. After that, Anna asked me if I preferred a boy or a girl.